But yeah, we could start the pod.
Okay.
Unless you want to kind of monkey around with the Spotify thing. Let me look at it real quick. Let's see how it works. Yeah, we can get started at any point.
Yeah, I started recording already.
Okay. Smooth operator. Smooth operator. Yeah. That's how the pod should start. The following podcast has been brought to you by the One Best Podcast. Thank you for checking out the One Best Podcast. I am your host, Andrew Karachi, alongside
Andrew Quimby.
And Mr. Quimby, what do we have in store tonight?
Tonight we are going to be discussing the latest, newest, fresh off the belt press.
Green Lantern movie?
No, Batman: The Long Halloween Part 1.
So last week we said we were going to review the live action Green Lantern movie. That was before I knew Long Halloween was coming out, so we've called an audible and decided to do this movie instead to prioritize it because it's first off it's a little bit better to watch, I think. So works for me.
Yeah, and it's been a while since we watched a Batman movie or / Batman content.
Yeah, we've been on this Green Lantern kick here for a little while here. But yeah, you can check the pod out at dogma.com /TWC. No, it's not on that. But you could find it. That's probably why our hits keep going down, is because they just don't know where to find it. They keep talking. They just keep typing in like dog ass and TWC, and then they get this computer virus, and the government comes and takes them away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one viewer or one listener gone. He's in prison for the rest of his life because he's watching dog porn. Don't watch dog porn. There, see? Now we're covered. They're not going to come for us. But
good.
Well, yeah, you could check the pod out at Gmail on pretty much. You know, I should just write this shit down once in a while so I could just have it all like where we can find it. But I don't even know where we can find the pod anymore. I'm kidding. But iTunes, you can search One Best Podcast. iTunes is the iTunes thing. You can also find it on Spotify, Stitcher, PlayPod, and soon to be on Pornhub. Still working out the kinks for that. And,
the kinks, you say?
Yeah, a little bit of a kinky show. Something that when I was trying to upload it the other day, which I wasn't trying to upload it the other day there. So this is a joke. So moving on. You can, if you want to contact the show, you can go on Facebook, search BatCast Weekly, and you could talk to the other BatCast people on that page. Send them personal messages saying, "Hi, I'm part of BatCast. Let's talk about Batman." No? Okay, so then you can also email the show by onebestpodcast@gmail.com. There is where Mr. Dorito Man searches through these emails and carefully grabs a chip from the bag so he doesn't get the nacho cheese on his fingertips. So the nacho cheese gets stuck on the files. And then carefully places the chip in his mouth where it then dissolves through the liquid shit inside of his mouth. And then after that, he then looks at the email. And Mr. Quimby, do we have any emails?
I don't even know what just happened there in that sentence of you describing there. It got so strange so quickly.
I was honestly just trying to see how much rambling nonsense I could say before I got cut off. You just never cut me off.
You should know better than that I don't cut you off. Especially when you're rambling nonsense. If I started cutting your rambling nonsense off, this podcast would be like a third of the length. But unfortunately, we do not have any emails.
What a way to bury the podcast. Well, if we got rid of you, the show would be like 3 times better.
Yeah, all right, good luck.
You're probably right. It probably would be 3 times better if I wasn't on it. But as I standing at the top of this mountain ready to jump off, kidding. There's no mountain. There's no mountain in Waukesha. There's a couple of cliffs, but there's no mountains. So with all of this, since we're on the topic of suicide, let's talk about the Long Halloween.
Jesus. Oh. Yes, the Long Halloween. How did you feel about the movie?
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not gonna say I disliked it, and I know that's a tough way to talk about a movie where you're saying, "Oh, I didn't hate it." No, I thought there was a lot of cool and good things in this. Just my interest level, I just was kind of bored, and it's not what I was expecting because I get it. They're basing it off of the graphic novel, but the Red Hood was kind of loosely based off a graphic novel too, and the Red Hood just had nonstop action, and you were just hooked to the story. This one, it felt like just a typical like buddy cop episode, and it felt like I was watching a cartoon, like an animated version of the show Gotham. That's what it felt like to me. I don't know what it for you, but like it felt like this would have been really cool if this was live action. But I think it being animated really like hurt it. That's just my opinion. Now, there's a lot of people who really, really like this movie. I was looking at other people's reviews before I did mine. Not that I'm going to copy them, but I just want to be like, holy shit, I did not feel the way they felt. And I might catch some heat for it because I think this is going to be the first like non-super positive review of this. Because I've kind of felt that I was kind of bored. I don't know about you, but
yeah, it's like it was. See, I liked it. It was good, but like kind of like it was very. I feel like it was just hitting all of the Batman bullet points. Like there was. I didn't feel like there was anything super original. It just felt like there was a lot of stuff that'd been done before, and it's just like it was interesting. But then there wasn't a whole lot of action. It was a lot of like almost entirely talk. It was a lot of talking. There's a few fights here and there, but which the talking's fine. It was. I don't know. It almost felt like this was a movie. Like, you know, sometimes when like people just do like the fanboy episodes where they just like what is it? I can't think of the actual term for it. Fan service episodes. This almost felt like this movie kind of felt a little fan servicey to me a little bit.
So there's a conspiracy. No, I didn't feel fan servicey to me. The Killing Joke felt really fan servicey to me. But because the Killing Joke was almost like they made the movie when nobody really wanted to make it, but everybody wanted it to be made. This kind of doesn't have that same feeling. This does feel kind of original. The only difference is that so anyways, let me get on my conspiracy. So the Matt Reeves Batman movie, the one that's being made for 2022 or whatever, was apparently supposed to be really similar to this movie. And apparently they're really pissed off because they're redoing a bunch of shit because this animated movie just came out and took a lot of the stuff they were doing because they were going to do the holiday killer and everything like that because they were using the long Halloween as a as kind of like their source material, kind of like how Christopher Nolan used The Dark Knight Returns as like his kind of source material, and Tim Burton didn't use anything. He just doesn't know what Batman's about. But he used his own thing. he just so so that's kind of so there's like that going on because they had an idea they were going to do this film noir style Batman, and that's what this kind of was. But I guess my biggest like issue I had with it, and I get it. Batman's only like I think this is like Batman year 2. It's like he's only like in his second year, so he's not going to be like the Kevin Conroy Batman from the animated series who just knows everything, right? I'm fine. I'm fine with that. But does every single character in the movie have to call him dumb? Like I know he didn't say, "Oh, you're a dumbass" or anything like that, but it's just like, "Oh, you're not much of a detective." "Oh, you're not much of a detective." Like I wonder if that was in the comic, and it just to me it didn't translate very well in film because it came off as such a. First of all, in a casual conversation, who uses the word detective to describe someone that's not, actually being a detective? I know we use that for Batman as a description for him, like he does really good detective work, but if Batman really existed in the real world, we probably wouldn't use that word. We'd say he's really smart or he's really intelligent. He figures a lot of things out. Like those are the words we say. Like if Andrew's really good at give me a video game you're really good at. Okay, fine. Give me something you're really good at.
I don't know.
You're not good at anything. Okay, so
Basically.
Andrew's really good at not being good at anything. So like I'm not going to use like a terminology that says like the term detective is usually only used in like the police or like if you're actually a private investigator or check your title. It's just weird when you hear someone outside of the Bat family use that word. Like it's okay if Gordon says it because Gordon is a detective himself, where he's like, "Oh, you're not really much of a detective." But when he's beating up on some random goon, and that goon says, "Oh, you're not much of a detective," if you're that goon in that moment, is that the word you would have said? To me, it doesn't come off real realistic to me. Like I feel like if I'm getting beat up by a goon and I wanted to like, listen here, idiot. Like I would either call him stupid or I'd call him an idiot or I'd call him a moron or I can't believe you can't figure this out. Like not oh, you're not much of a detective. Like Batman's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to pull out my wallet. Yeah, I'm a certified detective." Like I don't know. It's just to me that part really really bugged me. And maybe it was in the graphic novel or maybe it was in the comic. I never read the comic to be like I'm saying that right now, and you shouldn't have to read a comic to understand how the movie's going because the movie should be completely separate from the comic anyways.
Yeah.
So because I never read the Red Hood one. I don't need to because I thought that Red Hood movie was just great. I have read The Killing Joke because Killing Joke was short. But like this, I don't know. Like I feel that part kind of bugged me. Then everyone doing the disappearing act, the Bruce. First of all, that's the act that Bruce Timm made famous. That was his thing. Like he made Batman always walk away from in mid conversation, and this is supposed to be before all of that, and now everybody's doing it.
Yeah, because I did like it when Alfred did it to him.
Yeah,
I thought that was amusing, and then they made the same joke like 3 more times.
Yeah,
and it's like they were just beating. I feel like there was a bunch of that where they were just like beating a dead horse with their own jokes. because they
Yeah,
never told a joke once. They were repetitive with their jokes.
However, Joker did have the best joke through the whole movie when he was telling his joke. That wasn't really a joke. Remember when he was just rambling to Falcone? He's like, I got a joke for you. And he starts like rambling about like the calendar killer and killing people and all this shit. And Falcone has the best reaction. He's like, you call that a joke? I laughed.
Yeah, that
Like
was great.
that like he only said I got a joke for you, but not really. He didn't have a joke. That was just like how he was opening the conversation, and he was just talking normal. And Falcone's waiting for a punchline.
Mhm.
That joke wasn't really funny.
Yeah, the Joker was really good in this, I feel like.
Yes, and I do have to nitpick again with the Joker. Um, I like the Joker. I liked him in this. I thought he was actually, for a side character, it really worked. My biggest issue was the voice of how they did it. Um, Troy Baker, I guess, voiced the Joker in this. I don't know why he did a Mark Hamill style Joker and why he just didn't do something different. Like, if unless that was a producer thing, and I'm sure that's what it was. I'm sure that's what the voice
It's
director
probably they were
wanted.
probably like, no, sound more like this Joker. And he's like,
Right.
but that's not my Joker. And they're like, no, you sound more like this Joker. That's the kind of Joker we want. And so that's
I
probably
will.
what ended up happening.
I will say that he is the best Mark Hamill sounding Joker not named Mark Hamill. He sounded like Mark Hamill. And it was a good imitation of Mark Hamill. However, I feel like if you wanted Mark Hamill Joker, why didn't you just get Mark Hamill to play the Joker? Unless Troy Baker's significantly cheaper. Like I don't get that.
Bro,
You want to start this new universe because apparently they want to use this like cast going forward. You want to start like this new universe of new voices, and you want to get away from Conroy and Mark Hamill, and I'm fine with that. I just feel like if you're going to do that, you have to be different. Because look at the Red Hood, for example. Could you have done the Red Hood with Mark Hamill as Joker and Kevin Conroy as Batman? Absolutely. But they did it with two different people. John DiMaggio played Joker, brought a completely different style to the Joker. It almost had a little bit of a Heath Ledger style to it, mixed with a Mark Hamill and a little bit of Jack Nicholson, and bringing his own mix into it also, which made it sound completely unique and different. And it really worked. And I will say, like, some people like to say Troy Baker's the second best Joker ever. I will completely disagree. I will always say it's John DiMaggio in the Under the Red Hood and even in the Death in the Family, because that was one of the most entertaining. The way he delivered lines, and it was just I felt like that was a very good Joker, completely different than Mark Hamill, because Mark Hamill is a little bit more flamboyant. Uh, John DiMaggio's Joker is a little bit more darker and more sinister, but also like not really caring. He doesn't show any anger ever. Where Mark Hamill's Joker gets mad, because you've seen it in the animated series. You see,
mhm.
he actually gets emotional. The John DiMaggio one is just completely psychotic.
Yeah.
And then I would say the guy who played Benjamin Linus, that actor that played him in The Dark Knight Returns, that's probably my third favorite Joker.
Okay.
So Troy Baker's he's good, but there's been better guys who have played it, and I just wish he would have just done his own voice. That's just my one gripe with it.
Mhm.
How'd you feel about Troy Baker as Joker?
It's he sound I don't know. It seemed fine to me. It sounded like a good Joker to me. I'm
But
not as
you're not
into
really familiar with Mark Hamill, are you?
I'm not as in tune to the voices of Joker. I get lost in the I don't I do my best to not think about the person who's actually voicing the character and just listen to the character.
Okay.
But I don't know. The Joker was good. I feel like the Joker was one of the highlights of this movie, which he usually is. He's usually the Joker's always a fun character.
Yeah, I did like it when it was towards the end of the movie when he grabbed that sleigh or whatever, and he was just gonna drive, or the plane that he announced that he didn't know how to drive, and he was gonna just drop a bunch of acid or something onto everybody.
It was his like laughing gas or whatever. Yeah,
right.
his Joker
And
gas.
and Batman's like, "Why are you doing that?" He's like, "Well, Calendar or Holiday Man's probably down there somewhere, and he's probably down there."
It's like, because I'm
like
trying to kill Holiday. It's like, I'm trying to kill Holiday. And like half the city's down there. And that means I got a 50-50 shot of killing Holiday. And if I don't kill Holiday, at least I killed a bunch of people. So it all works out.
Yeah, he's great.
It is the most twisted Joker logic plan ever. And I love that. It was like, it makes a disturbing, twisted sense to it that you can't argue with because it kind of makes sense, but it's such a Joker twist to it.
Right. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess let's talk about Batman in this. So, Batman is voiced by Supernatural boy Dean Winchester, or the Red Hood. So the Red Hood grew up and became Batman. So I will say
I do find it kind of interesting that they use this. You have him who played Red Hood, and then they're like, you know what? We're gonna make him Batman now.
Yeah.
It's because I feel like it's interesting that they're okay with that.
I felt he was really good.
Mm-hmm.
There were times his voice kind of came out, but like I felt like he was the Red Hood. There's times there, but I felt like he played a really good. He did a really good performance as Batman, especially a younger Batman. So I hope that he brought more life into the role than the guy who played him in the New 52 movies, because that dude got like 10 freaking movies. I just hope that Jensen Ackles or whatever, what's his name?
Jensen Ackles.
Jensen Ackles. I hope that he wants to play Batman going forward, and whenever they create their new universe, he's their new Batman.
Yeah, I think that'd be great, and especially more time in the role is only going to make him better at it.
Right. Because Kevin Conroy wasn't great overnight. It took him a couple of years before he became the voice of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do you could still use Conroy here and there. But like when you're doing this new extended universe, which is what it looks like they're going to combine this with Man of Tomorrow, which was that Superman movie that came out the last couple months ago or whatever, that we just didn't review for some reason.
Okay.
But it was an animated movie. It was the first after the New 52 movies were done, because the New 52 ended last summer. So they've made a couple of new movies since, starting this new universe. They did a Justice League movie that was based from World War II, I think. I think it's called Justice Society. And then they did this Superman movie, and this is the third movie. This is the Batman Long Halloween movie. And from what I was reading, they're going to probably connect everything to start like this newer animated universe.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah. So, because especially if Conroy and Mark Hamill are going to do the new Batman show for HBO Max, you could start a movie universe and let them do their animated TV show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine. That's fine with me. That way I still get Kevin Conroy in my life, and we get a new Batman, because Conroy can't play Batman forever.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe we'll get a Beware the Grey Ghost movie, and Conroy will play the Grey Ghost. See, it's funny because that joke is hilarious, but if you never saw the Grey Ghost episode, you're just not going to know what the hell I'm talking about.
All right. I feel like you've explained it enough that I know what the reference you're talking to with never having seen the episode.
Yeah. It's just because the Gray Ghost was played by Adam West.
Mm-hmm.
And that obviously, if you don't know who Adam West is, he was the first Batman live action person, pretty much, from the 60s TV show that was typecasted to that role and wasn't able to really do anything after Batman was off the air. So they made an episode about that, essentially, but they just replaced Batman with the Gray Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
The Gray Ghost was a superhero character on TV that Bruce used to watch when he was a kid, and he actually the Batmobile and the Batcave. It's all based from the Gray Ghost. It was an inspiration.
Yeah.
One of the best episodes of the animated series. A great episode. It's probably easily in the top 5.
Okay.
Easily. But yeah, I wonder if they'll do a Gray Ghost episode with Jensen Ackles as Batman and Kevin Conroy as the Gray Ghost. Now that would be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. That would make my day. That would just do it for me. That would do it for me. Like I could go to work, I could put stickers on a box all day and be happy. Because I got that in my life now.
Okay. At least you know what you require.
Yeah. So Harvey Dent was in this movie, and I will say that. Oh wait, first, how'd you like Jensen Ackles as Batman? By the way,
I liked him. He really felt like Batman. Like there's only I think there's only like 1 or 2 times that I really like felt his like Dean voice come out. But and overall, he was Batman, and I think he did a really good job.
do you think he should be Batman going forward?
I definitely hope so.
Do you think they found their Batman?
I think so. I think this is a really good version of Batman that like felt like Batman, especially like you said, it's a younger Batman, so it definitely fit like the younger Batman-ish vibe compared to like I don't know, like yeah, which is he definitely him voicing a younger character like it could work, but it just doesn't seem.
It has worked in the past.
Yeah.
Remember he
he did do that, yeah.
That Japanese style animation movie.
Yeah, he did that. I forgot about that.
Very well. He did it very well.
Yeah.
I really think they should make that into an animated series, like that episode of that when we watched Gotham Knight, the one where he went to like what was it, Japan or Korea or wherever the hell he went to, Hong Kong, when he learned how to manage pain. I don't know, where'd he go? Do you remember?
I think it was like India.
India? Okay, I was close. It wasn't the United States, so I was going to be close regardless. So he went to Chicago. No, when he learned how to manage pain, that was one of the more interesting episodes. And then the one with the one where he kind of had the anime style hair with the he had that machine that could stop bullets or whatever.
Yeah, it deflected the bullets. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like that animation style was very interesting. And I think I think they could do like an anime style. It obviously be Americanized, but like an anime style Batman, it could be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that whole when we watched that Gotham Knights,
yeah,
I kind of felt like that was all that. I felt like that was like them like seeing what worked and what didn't, and I'm surprised that nothing came out of that.
Nothing, I know. Well, we got Batman Ninja. That's what we got out of all that.
Yeah, because the Gotham Knights very much felt like let's throw a bunch of stuff against the wall and see which one of these versions of these it was one of these stories / styles like fits, and like that one was actually a good one, and I'm surprised that nothing ever, even like a few more like mini episodes or something off of it. But I don't know.
Yeah, all of them are good except for that first one.
Mm-hmm.
That first one was awful. But anyways, back to Long Halloween. So we talked about Batman. We talked about Joker. Let's talk about Harvey Dent now. So
All right,
the
Harvey Dent.
the Harvey
Let
Dent
me
they used. You got something for me or what?
let me go on my Harvey Dent rant here real quick.
Sure.
He was all right. I wanted to like him. Every scene he was in, they jammed a Two-Face reference down your throat, and it like drove me crazy the entire movie. Every single scene was like, oh, I got multiple heads, whatever, or two heads are better than one, or oh, we got to flip a coin here, and like every single scene, they were jamming a whole Two-Face reference down your throat to the point where he even almost got blown up in an explosion, and they were hiding half his face, and everyone was just expecting like, oh my God, he's gonna be Two-Faced now, and that turned out he was completely fine, and they were just baiting you the entire time just to screw with you,
I actually
joking of the
thought that was
Two-Face thing.
I actually thought that was really well done when they did that part. Like the him turning the fake out for him being Two-Face thing.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of gave that a little bit of a clap. I thought that was pretty well done. That's just my opinion though. The rest of it though, I agree with you. But that specific scene, I thought that was actually pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty well done because there was an explosion. They had an explosion and everything. And I'm like, I really didn't want Two-Face in this movie at all because I like the Harvey Dent character. I've always liked Harvey Dent. I don't like him when he becomes Two-Face because I don't really like Two-Face that much.
Yeah.
Now I'm not talking about Harvey Dent from the Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight Rises or whatever movie the hell those train wreck movies were. But like this Harvey Dent reminded me so, and we don't get a lot of character development on Harvey Dent in general. But if you've played the Telltale games, it is really similar to this Harvey Dent. However, I don't think this Harvey Dent and Bruce were friends in this movie. Like, I don't think they were like friends outside of all this, right?
Yeah, it kind of seemed like because like there was the one scene where Gordon basically like introduced them to each other and was like, "You two work together now." So I really don't think they had like much interactions.
And Dent, yeah, but I'm talking about like as Bruce Wayne.
Oh, as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, Bruce
no, this version of Bruce Wayne it seems like he's very much like a recluse.
Right.
He really doesn't seem like he does anything.
If you look at the animated series, Bruce and Harvey Dent obviously had the friendship. The fact that Batman blames himself for Two-Face existing. Then in the Telltale games, they have a deep-rooted history going way back. Like they're best friends. Because in the Telltale game, you control Bruce Wayne as much as you control Batman. It's one of the only video games where you do that. And like I said, eventually we'll review the Telltale games, but like they're really going with a Telltale game vibe on this because they also reference that Bruce's father might have been with the mafia. I don't know if you caught that. But Falcone talked about how Bruce's father was like, he used to donate to charities, and he was a major member of this family, a big member of this family, which is a Italian mafia way of saying like he was in mafia.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
In the Telltale games, Bruce's family had deep ties with the mafia. And so some people didn't like that because Thomas Wayne is supposed to be like the symbol of good hope of the whole city. If you go back to the Nolan movies or even in the animated series, there's not a lot of negative things about Thomas Wayne. But they like to do this mafia thing with him. This is the newer version of the Wayne family. The Wayne family has ties with the mafia, except for Bruce, but everybody else does.
Yeah, because I think it was like the end credit thing. Whatever they said that they were using, his dad was using the charities to launder the money. So he was definitely tied up with the whole family because he was basically laundering their money for them through the Wayne charities.
Right.
And that's what he's been, because he kept pressuring Bruce, and like he kept saying things like the entire movie, and that's because apparently because Bruce refuses to do that, obviously. But so that's why he's been, and also why at one point there is an entire warehouse full of cash that they were struggling to launder because Bruce was refusing to launder it for them.
I will say that I do, back to talking about Batman again. I did like this Batman a lot. I like that he was very kind to the people that he wasn't fighting against. And you've seen Conroy's Batman do this once in a while, but when Conroy's Batman gets into the Justice League and he's been Batman for a long time, he just starts punching people. Like, so let's talk about the Solomon Grundy scene. So, when they're down in the sewers, he's chasing that Chinese man or whatever down there, and he says, "I know what's down here." And Solomon Grundy has the guy, and he has him in a chokehold, pretty much, like a choke slam, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Batman was able to talk Grundy down, and they just left. Now, if this was Kevin Conroy's Batman, he probably would have just went in there and started fighting Grundy. So I do like that this version of Batman will actually try to talk, and not just that. He made a deal with him saying, like, if you let him go, we'll leave and we'll leave you alone. And then he came back and he gave him the Thanksgiving dinner. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. It really showed you that he actually like cared.
Uh-huh. And even when he was in Arkham talking to some of the other criminals in there, he was pretty cordial for the most part, like talking to Calendar Man or like the other ones. Like, he wasn't, you could tell if he's not fighting you, he's willing to work with you and have, like, he was pretty cordial with Harvey Dent.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely because this is definitely a younger Batman because he's not jaded yet. Because
Right.
as he gets older, he just becomes so jaded that he doesn't approach he doesn't try the soft touch anymore. He just goes for the brute force method a lot faster.
Right. Like, we can compare him to the Batman from Public Enemies or the Batman from Apocalypse. Could you imagine that Batman having a conversation with Grundy?
Probably not.
No, that Batman was extremely grumpy.
Mm-hmm.
I can see maybe the animated series Batman talking to him because he's a little bit kinder in that version. But when he gets in the Justice League, he's a freaking asshole. And he likes to rub it in his face. He loves to rub it in your face that he's smarter than you.
Yeah.
It's just like there was a Justice League episode where it's like an Elseworlds episode where they meet their selves from another dimension. And so Batman, their Batman felt like the other Batman was the biggest risk out of everyone from the Justice League, which I found fascinating that he thinks of himself that highly.
Mm-hmm.
So he like had Batman, the one from Justice League. He had them all tied up and nowhere to go, and he says, and he's just, so the Batman that's tied up is trying to figure out ways to get out. And so the Elseworlds Batman is just like, I've already thought of that. You won't be able to get through that. You wouldn't be able to get through any of this. And he's like, you've thought of everything, haven't you? He's like, no, just anything you'll ever think of. He just loves to rub it in your face that he's smarter than you.
Mm-hmm.
This Batman's not quite like that because apparently everyone thinks he's dumb.
Yeah. Because he's, I guess, him being basically a vigilante is struggling to make a police case.
It's not his job to make a case.
Exactly. That's what that part kind of annoyed me too. Is like, when like Gordon was like lecturing him about like, oh, you have to prove with the evidence thing, and he's like lecturing him like he's like a new detective in the freaking police force or something like that, and it's like, this is Batman. He hangs people off of buildings. He's not worried about the chain of evidence or anything like that. Like
you have your methods, he has his.
yeah, like okay, occasionally, yeah, like if you want to work together and you can kind of combine both of them, and when then he can kind of like, but his thing is more like scaring criminals into not doing the things
Right.
than like slapping cuffs on them. Like his biggest worry is not getting taking care of criminals, it's keeping the crazies off the street. Which basically
Right.
by the walk in Arkham, it seems like he's done quite well at cleaning up most of the names in the city. Like he had quite the collection there, it seemed like.
And then to find out that Arkham was actually a Harvey Dent idea. Did you catch that?
No.
They were having a conversation about Arkham, and Batman said, "I would have been fine with just putting all these guys in prison." But Dent wanted this asylum built instead.
I did
So
not
Harvey
catch that.
Dent, so Harvey Dent wants to rehabilitate the people.
Hmm.
Batman could care less if they get rehabilitated or not.
Yeah.
Which is the complete opposite of the Batman I grew up watching. He was always about rehabilitation. That's why he doesn't kill, because he believes
Mm-hmm.
in second chances.
Yeah.
He believes that you can reform and become good.
Yeah.
So it's weird that this Batman doesn't believe in that.
Mm-hmm.
This early in
Also,
his career.
what's the deal with Calendar, dude?
Calendar Man,
Yeah.
to be honest with you, I don't know. I think he's a I think he commits crimes on holidays. I think
Um,
that's like,
it's weird because I almost felt like he was like Riddler-esque,
yes.
where he was kind of
I
like
know
answering
he's
in
very
like half
intelligent.
sentences.
I know he's very intelligent,
Mm-hmm.
but he's but as far as like, I don't really know that much about him because I've never seen him in an animated movie before. This is the first time I've
Okay.
ever seen him. I've heard of him before. I know he was in like the Arkham games here and there, but like he never was. He was never a main villain by any means.
Hmm.
But he was the right guy to go and talk to because this is kind of his thing.
Yeah.
And Calendar Man hinted that it was Harvey Dent.
Mm-hmm. He's like, ah, I see, and one of you isn't here purposefully or whatever he said. Yeah. Yeah, he basically just like gave them all a bunch of information, just like so somehow the guy that's in prison basically knows more than those like people outside that are actually investigating this stuff.
Well, I think it's
Sorry.
because I think they're similar crimes than what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're kind of really similar to what he does. So that's why he would know what the guy is going to do because it's what he would do. And that's pretty much
Yeah.
what he's basing it off of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's good at reading people.
Yeah.
So he thinks it's Harvey Dent, which is who it probably should be, but it won't be when the second part comes out. What else happened in this?
So Catwoman.
Oh yeah, that. Um, a lot of people are like from the reviews I've been watching, they're praising Catwoman. Like this is one of the best Catwomans ever. Um, okay.
What?
I mean, she was there. I mean,
She didn't
she
do a
she
whole lot.
well, she almost ruined the whole fucking movie. Like, I can't believe I got so irritated. Like, I get it that she knows that Batman's Bruce Wayne, but
Mhm.
goddamn, like when Batman shows up to confront Falcone's son, and she's like, Bruce. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah,
Seriously?
I instantly was like, what the heck are they supposed to do now? He knows. Like, what are they supposed to do? And then he got shot, and I'm like, oh, there's the solution. They don't have to figure it out because he's dead now. Also, that was an incredibly brutal death.
Yeah, he
Got
got it probably
shot
worse.
several times, knocked into the water, and then blended by the boat propellers. Like, oof.
That seemed a little overkill and unnecessary for a
Very
guy
much
that's
so.
not even for a guy who's not even like got ties with the mafia. He's not even a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't
Which,
want to be a
okay,
part of the mafia.
I'm another thing. So he's chasing. He's like 10 feet away from the freaking guy he's hunting, and the guy can get away. What the hell?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
the
then you
guy
got to think
speeds off
about
in
it.
a
Like,
speedboat, and I'm just like, what? Back grapple the speedboat. Like, do something. Jesus, dude.
well, you think about it. If this person can escape Batman, now it has to be like you have to think about it. It's probably got to be somebody that if you're that's the thing I hate about animation because they'll make it not make sense. But um, it can't be Harvey Dent's wife now, which is what a lot of people are expecting.
I don't know.
Robin doesn't exist yet. I was thinking maybe it's like Red Hood or something.
See, I feel like everything. See, everything points to it being Harvey Dent's wife. Like, there's so many clues they've like subtly dropped about it, which I feel like that has to be the answer. But like, it's they're gonna do something stupid
Yeah. You know what's
because
probably
like,
going to happen is they'll do their big reveal and it'll be just like Batman by Gaslight and it'll be Jim Gordon.
yes, I've they make it was Jim Gordon the whole time because there was no evidence that proved it was him. That means it must be him.
Because they're like, we gotta come up with something shocking, something that nobody will see. Yeah, maybe it'll be Batman the whole time. It was Batman.
It was actually Batman. That's a perfect solution. It's actually Batman. Or Catwoman did it. Catwoman did it.
You
She
could,
wanted to hang out with Batman more.
there's definitely an interesting way where you could make it be Batman. It would be a
How?
terrible idea. Okay, so because you could have had it where Batman thought he was chasing down the person that killed him, but really it was him that killed Falcone's son, not knowing that he did. Kind of like similar to how they did that in Death in the Family with Red Hood when he was killing all those people. You could do something similar to that, but be ready for. And if they do that, I will applaud them and I'll say that was good storytelling. And if they could find a creative way to do it, because I don't really know how I would do it, but like if they could find a way to do that, I will applaud them. I will come on this podcast and I will praise the fuck out of it because they took a chance and they made Batman a murderer. I'm interested in that. They're not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't do that, even though that would make sense that he'd be targeting all of Falcone's people because he does hate Falcone.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, because there's so many like little evidence things.
I don't know how you would be able to explain how Batman was doing this without knowing it.
Yeah, I don't know. Poison Ivy's controlling his mind.
I'm gonna pretend like she's not in this movie for the sake of an argument because it's
Yeah,
better if she's not in it.
I know. But they teased it, which annoys me.
I see that's the thing. I never thought that Ivy had mind control abilities.
Yeah, I don't know.
She never had that really in the animated series. She was able to like make plant people and control plants and poison people. And she didn't like control minds. So that I'm not a fan of.
Yeah.
When they do that, but she makes men only ones counts as zeros and twos counts as ones, and she can go backwards on the track by rolling 3 dice.
Exactly. What else happened in this movie?
Tons of things happen. It was an hour and 40 minutes. It's crazy.
They actually had some decent length on it, and it's a 2-parter. I'm kind of bummed that it's literally I was expecting this to like kind of wrap up, and then the second part would be like kind of a semi continuation of it. But then it's just straight up,
they reveal who it is, and now it's like, holy shit, it's a shock. How the hell did this work? And then the second movie is, how the hell did this work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
But instead, it was just straight up cliffhanger. Like I wasn't a fan of that.
I haven't been so disappointed in any in a movie since Pirates of the Caribbean, the second movie, where they just kind of ended on a cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate when movies do this.
Yeah,
because it's a movie. Like part 1 and part 2 should be individual movies, like The Dark Knight Returns. The Dark Knight Returns, you could watch part 2 and not watch part 1.
See, like what they could have done is they could have grabbed someone and been like, kind of the evidence kind of shows it's some one person, whoever, and they're like, yeah, this is our guy, and you kind of end with that, but you're like, I don't know, that doesn't quite seem right. And then the next movie is like, no, see, this guy definitely didn't do it. We're still looking for somebody.
I would have had them capture the guy, and they're about to unmask him, and he says, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
But do they unmask him?
No, the mask doesn't come off. It is like, holy crap, the monsters are real.
Perfect.
Scrappy Doo shows up.
Yep. Why not?
Terrible, terrible, terrible. But no, I feel like this could have been interesting as like either a mini series or as a live action, similar to Gotham. Didn't it feel like you're kind of watching Gotham? Like
A little
Gotham
bit. It kind of had, especially with him working so close with like Dent and Gordon and everything like that, and the three of them were kind of like working. Just they were working a case. It very much felt like it was just a detective kind of show slash movie.
I have a little bit of a gripe. How is Renee Montoya in this movie and not Harvey Bullock?
Was Renee Montoya in this movie?
Yes. She had like a small scene when they were at the police station. But no Harvey Bullock.
Okay. Maybe that's in part 2.
But like, well, Harvey Bullock is Renee Montoya was made from Bruce Timm. She's not a normal comic book character. She was made for the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was funny that she was in this movie, that this novel was written before the animated series, and we don't get Harvey Bullock. Like if you're gonna bring me into the animated series universe, this is what they're doing, then give me some Harvey Bullock. Just a little bit of a gripe. Fuck Renee Montoya. Give me some Harvey Bullock.
Mm.
I want to see him walking in the room, fat slob, eating a pizza or something, getting pizza sauce all over his dirty shirt.
See, and that's the problem. He's too big of a spectacle.
With his New Yorker accent. But I think the guy who voiced him is dead. Who used to voice him. But that's just me. I mean, Harvey Bullock was in the freaking Gotham series.
Yeah.
He's a main character in Gotham.
Yep.
Probably one of the best renditions of Harvey Bullock ever, by the way.
Yeah.
Actor they got was great for that. But like this felt like I said, I felt like I was watching the Gotham TV show, but it was animated, so it just didn't feel right. Because it felt like this should have been live action. I think if this was live action, we would have a completely different opinion of it.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
this movie definitely could, like, especially the way this movie was written, where there wasn't a whole lot of action. It was a lot of detective work and investigating, whatever. This could have easily been a live action movie.
yeah, Jensen Ackles could have still played Batman.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
But they want to have a twinkly vampire do it.
Let's wait till the movie comes out before you start ripping on Batman. It could be good.
Oh no, it doesn't. He can be a good Batman, but that doesn't mean it doesn't undo the fact that he was a twinkly vampire.
Fair, but the way you said it, like in a very negative demeanor, like, oh no, let's just get instead of a vampire killer, let's get an actual vampire. You're like, I didn't say that.
Sure, yeah. What? Okay.
I'm exaggerating, clearly.
Mm-hmm. That is interesting, though. Random side point that kind of makes me, if the 2022 whatever the Batman movie that they're making was similar to this movie, I'm like, okay, that actually gives me, because I didn't have high hopes for that movie.
Right.
But like, if they're like, oh, it's similar to this movie to the point that they got annoyed by this movie coming out, that actually makes me go like, oh, maybe it's actually decent then.
I actually do have high hopes for it because I guess the director was really high on doing this film noir style, which has never been done in live action before.
Mm-hmm. I
And
did see a thing saying that they're trying to make it the darkest version of Batman yet, or something like that.
Yeah, like it was going to be a detective story, like similar to this. There was a crime. Batman's acting more of as a detective than a superhero or a crime fighter. He's literally, he has no idea who this calendar killer is, and he's gone down every single lead, and it just seems like he's not even close. And I've never seen Batman like this, where it's just like he just has no idea. He's just waiting for another person to be killed.
Yeah, he's literally just like chasing his tail in this movie.
Yeah,
he's going around in circles. He's got his like handful of suspects, and yet he's proven that all of these people could easily be the killer, but he's also proven that all these people could easily not be the killer. So he's basically like has gained no ground in his investigation whatsoever.
And there's certain people that are on his suspect list that he refuses to even investigate, like Harvey Dent.
Mm-hmm.
He has Harvey Dent blacked out. Like he won't even admit the fact that it could be a possibility.
Yep.
Well, we got someone has a 3-star wanted level.
That's a usual thing though.
Oh yeah, around here it is. So yeah. There's another thing. So I guess part 2, from the cover of part 2, Two-Face is in the movie. So he becomes Two-Face somehow. Which I wish they wouldn't have just showed us that. Like that's kind of and like I said, I like it when Harvey Dent is Harvey Dent. Like if you play the Telltale game, he's Harvey Dent for the majority of the game. And then when he has the option to turn Two-Face, you can have him turn Two-Face, or you can have him still be Harvey Dent. but Harvey Dent runs for mayor in that series.
Mm-hmm.
And Bruce is a major contributor to his campaign. Kind of similar to Beware the Batman. He ran for mayor in that too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that Harvey Dent in Beware the Batman was crooked.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the Telltale game becomes crooked, but that's because of his psychological disorder that he has with his brain about when he gets crazy. He goes nuts because he thinks that Selena Kyle, who was his girlfriend, is like cheating on him with Bruce, and it just fucking it snaps his brain because his best friend is sleeping with his fiance or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I really wish I wish they hadn't done Two-Face in the second part. I hope I just feel like it's like oh, if we have Harvey Dent, at some point we've got to turn him into Two-Face. Like nobody ever wants to just keep him himself. They always want to make him Two-Face right away.
I'm sorry, Harvey Dent is a more interesting character than Two-Face.
Exactly. I much prefer Harvey Dent. I have yet to see a version of Two-Face that I have preferred over any version of Harvey Dent, pretty much.
I will say the way the animated series did it, I liked that style where he'd fold every once in a while, and like you could tell like Harvey Dent was still inside of Two-Face even when he became Two-Face. But like, man, that was one of the better episodes of that show too. But yeah, anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of.
So next week, are we gonna finish up Green Lantern, or do you want us to move on from it?
Should probably wrap up Green Lantern.
Okay, so next week we'll do the live action Deadpool version of Green Lantern.
God, I wish it was a Deadpool version. It'd probably be a lot better.
I haven't seen it, so I'm keeping an open mind. I'm hoping
Okay.
I like it. But I will say, bottom line, for Long Halloween, is this the best animated movie since The Red Hood? No, it's not. Flashpoint was a better movie. Dark Knight Returns, I felt, was a better movie. Red Hood, obviously, was a better movie. I'm just naming movies that have come out since Red Hood.
Yeah.
I'd even say like Public Enemies was a pretty good one. I don't know if it's better than this though.
Yeah. This is a really solid movie.
Yeah, I liked it. I'm excited for part 2 because I'm kind of curious on who the killer is going to be. I mean, it's clearly got to be Harvey Dent's wife, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what they're pointing to, it seems like. So everyone listening, send us your emails, comment on the Facebook page, tell us who you think it is.
Yeah. If you made it this far, you'll know to do that. Then we'll know you're listening. And we'll find out next month on who it is. So excited on that. So with that, I am Clear Trash along what a great name. Alongside Keep Out of Reach of Children. And we'll be back next week with another exciting episode of the BatCast featuring Green Lantern and Hal Jordan's huge dong. I don't know why I said that, but if I had the power of a Green Lantern ring, you wouldn't just make huge dongs and hit people with it.
I guess if you'd be an interesting Green Lantern.
It's like, oh great, here comes the Dick. My name would just be Dick. I'd just make these huge like schlongs, and I would just like kill people with them.
Yep. See,
That
no
would
one
be
would ever want to fight you with that.
right. That would be my Green Lantern. That's what I would make with my construct. What would you do? Make hammers?
Sure. Why don't they make swords? I feel like a sword would be an effective Green Lantern weapon.
Green Lantern made didn't Hal Jordan make a drill that he was gonna like drill someone's throat?
He threatened, yeah, he was threatening that at one point. He was going to drill someone's face in.
All right, we'll be back next week. It's a cool outro right there.
Yeah, that got weird. That was a random tangent.
A tangent after the show is over.
The show is over. We just talked about Green Lantern for another minute.
Did you catch? Did I send you that Yu-Gi-Oh video?